Hi everyone. I am trying to share a great magazine that will help you to identify more and more things to reflect, reconcile, and renew your life. I know that some people doesn't like to hear, but because we have this different senses, the five senses, sometimes people likes to go through their eyes and read it, and that will help your brain to reflect better. I'm a picture mind person, and I love to see maybe through the videos or maybe through the real life scenarios. But there are a big bunch of people that they love to read, and books are always good, isn't it? And if you have a magazine and that will connect with your core values, and if you think that is having quality material to read and there is no advertisement, do you prefer to read those magazines? Yeah, if so, I recommend this wonderful magazine that's coming bi-monthly with a wonderful cover page. And I love the first page that they're having a dedicated prayer that will help you to contemplate yourself and then going through real stories. And this is a Catholic magazine, and the stories are real and happened, and miraculous changes happened in their life that will help us to engage, help us to enrich our faith life, and then find out how these miracles are happening. And then if you were listening me and my show during this time in Melbourne, I used to read these stories from this magazine, and I'm getting a real good feedback from the people and finding out how we can get the printed copies of this book. Yes, you will get this printed copies if you subscribe, but this is freely available online. And if you go to Shalom World, you will get this magazine. Or if you go to the real, its own dedicated website called Shalom Tidings, you can go through all these featured magazines. And I'm going to share a story today that really touched my heart during this Lent season. And allow you to read rest of this conversations happening there. So there are four different areas that they're putting these articles. Allow that engage, encounter, enjoy, and evangelize. And I like this four E's. So the Shalom Tidings are helping you to have this four E's in your spiritual life: engage, encounter, enjoy, and evangelize. So if you are a person and really looking forward to read some magazines that's connected to your Christian faith, I encourage and recommend, highly recommend this magazine. And I know that this magazine is done from the inception to the laying down and colors and review everything through the Holy Spirit. Connection, and everyone behind the scene, they work hard connecting their core to the creator, and stories are real stories as well. So today I picked up from the Encage area of this magazine, and I loved the way that they're putting up this color photos of the authors and then putting up the story in a real way that connect to your heart. Today, this piqued my eyes. The title goes like this: Until We Meet Again. I'm gonna read that for you a little bit, but I'm not telling you the full story, because if you wanna know more about it, go to shalomtidings.org and figure out what happened to this story. So this story is a real story happened, and the author of, or the person who experienced this story, her name is Connie Beckman. She is a member of Catholic Writers Guild who shares her love of God through her writings. And this is one of the beautiful experience that helped her to connect closely to God. And somehow this resonated to me, not fully, but resonated to me. But I'll tell you how. But let me read the story. Until we meet again. How does any parent survive the death of a child? That's the line really hooked into this reading for me personally, as a parent, a mother of three beautiful boys and one one another child. So I'll come to that story. I cannot begin to answer this question as a professional counselor, but only as a mother who has lived through worst nightmare of the life. We were blessed with the two boys who were the joy of our lives. The night of the accident, my husband Cliff and I, along with our 15-year-old son Chris, spent a terrifying night waiting, hoping, and praying that David, our 17-year-old, would somehow return home safely. And I'm not telling the full story, what can happen. What is your imaginations or gut feel about this story, hearing the tagline or the heading? Yes, in the morning around 7 o'clock, they got this news that yes, David is not no more. I cried from the depth of my being. I was emotionally numb. Looking back after all these years, I see how God, in His compassion and love, supplied my body and spirit with emotional safeguard that temporarily blocked out the enormous shock of this pain, unbearable reality. Thinking of that night reminds me of the touching words of the poem entitled Footprints in the Sand, in which our loving God says, during your times of trials and suffering, when you see only one set of footprints, it was that I carried you. That line has really touched me again and again because many times I couldn't see the footprints, the pair of the footprints. I always, I would say most of the time I used to see only, you know, that one footprint, one set. And I always think that I was walking by myself. There is no real companion in my life. But this reading helped me to go through that grief and then find out that peace really deep into my heart. Especially this month, I always go through that grieving process of losing my dad. It's my ninth year where I'm still in that pain and finding out that core part of my life is gone. And am I still feeling that pain? And then I'm grieving on that. But when I gone through that one, I I could feel that even though I couldn't see that footstep, that time he was carrying me. And at the same time, couple of that affirmations that I used to tell and to tell to my heart all the time. When the one single hair from you is falling down, he is counting those. That means he is there all the time because I do have lots of hair for all the time. Everywhere my hair is falling. So that helped me to connect closely with him. Yes, whenever it's down, that means that many times he is counting and he is with me. And then whenever you shed a single, tear or tearful life or whatever you talk about, you're crying out loud or crying with a sigh or then being in silent mode and then talk to your creator. He clearly says that I pick up the whole tears in a bottle and counting it and giving you blessing. So those two things helped me to go through the pain of losing someone very special. Because when I was pregnant with my triplets, I lost one. At that time, I didn't feel the real pain of losing a baby. But going through that time and then waiting for my other two babies to come out, that was the time that I had that real feel that yes, I lost my loved one, even though I couldn't see that soul. I feel that soul is there and interceding for me. And that was the real comfort. So that's the reason why this reading online touching deep into my heart. So if you feel like you are all alone and couldn't go out of your that circle with grief and suffering, or any hard time in your life, and then you don't have any companion, I totally urge you and encourage you to go through these type of magazines, readings, and podcast, and then listen to those encouraging words, because these are the real stories that the creator coming and connecting with you, and then giving that powerful connection in this story for this mom, giving that a real consolation. And then she is helping now many other people who is going through similar trouble. So I encourage everyone, if you are going through pain through this time, encourage, find out the best option. So if you want to listen this in a podcast, go and find out. If you go want to read in Kindle, find it out. The tidings are available everywhere. I'm not pushing you to read the tidings, but find out the best content that help you to connect with your creator. If you want to know more about this story that she was telling here, if you want to know more about Connie's stories, this is from the latest edition of Shalom Tidings, and you can get the whole full story of this one from shalomtidings.org. This is Bismi from Melbourne on 88.9 FM, sharing the whole story of Christianity and the love that I am experiencing through my Creator, and then how I am changing myself and inspiring the people around my little world. Stay tuned. This is Bismi Paladi on 88.9 FM.